Hello, friends, and welcome to Pilates Fusion. This is the 8th session in a series of 30 that I like to layer between the series of 30 yoga practices. And these sessions will help us with the peak pose in the next video. Should you like to do all of it, or this one can certainly be used for individual as well. And we are going to do pelvic clock to release the lower back and SI joints and to stabilize the SI joint from the front side of hugging all the way in and moving our pelvis in 3 different ways today. And then we move on with our Pilates fusion movements. So have a block handy by. We'll use it for the head and also at the very end for a back bend stretch. Let's come and lay onto our backs, and we'll start with 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So come onto your back and put your feet nice and flat, knees to the sky, hands on each side. And then we're going to come to 12 o'clock spot, which is the space right below the belly button into the lower back. It's like a nice rod through, and it is being accessed by using our lower belly muscles, not hips, hip flexors, glutes, nothing of that, just the lower back. And then we'll take it down to tip of tailbone, 6 o'clock. And we are doing this 6 and 12 o'clock move by just accessing our lower abs. Say you have a tight lower back, then this is a little piece of happiness for the lower back. I have to use my words wisely since we are on YouTube. So let's do some happiness for the lower back. We'll do 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock by simply squeezing our lower abs and accessing the lower abdominals. And 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock. And again, no glutes, no quads, no hamstrings, just abdominals. We'll do 4 more, and we'll do 3 more, and we'll do 2 more, and we'll do 1 more. And then from here, we'll come back to neutral spine, which means lower back is slightly open, sacrum on the mat, shoulder blades on the mat. We'll go to 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And we'll keep on doing that with our hips. The lower back is slightly lifted. We get a nice stretch and arrangement of our ligaments and tendons that holds our sacrum and hip socket and sacral region. We'll do another 4 and another 3 and another 2 and 1 more. And then we're going to take the left heel outside of your mat, and we're going to come to 11 o'clock and we're going to come to 5 o'clock. So we're going to go up diagonal to 11 and then down to 5, and 11 and 5 and 11 and 5 and 11 and 5 and 11 and 5. And we are getting to stretch our ligaments and tendons and activate them in a diagonal move. Lower abs are doing the move. Now we could also add the left foot out and back up, but the knee stays the same, but it's like a little extra push from 11 and 5 and 11 and 5 and 11 and 5. And it's like we get to untie knots in our hips, hip flexors, SI joint as we do 4 more of these. 5 and 11 and 5 and 11 and 5 and 11 and 5 and 11. And then we'll put the left foot back in, and there's a little buzzing going on in the hip flexor areas and the lower back. Step your right heel outside of your mat. We'll keep it there for now, slightly turned out. Then we come to 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. 1 and 7 and 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 1 and 7. And we'll keep on going here, and we could add and push the leg slightly out from that 7 o'clock point. So we come 1 and 7 and 1 and 7 and 1 and 7 and 1 and 7. And we'll do 4 more here, getting a nice big push into the diagonal of our hips, and 2 more, 1 and 7 and 1 and 7. And then we'll come back and take the knees to the chest, sacrum down, lower back slightly lifted, and circle onto your sacrum one way, and then we'll take it the other way around. And then from here, feet onto the mat, and we'll take our block underneath the head, please, and continue on with our opposite arm and leg, hugging the belly button in, and like we have a baby elephant sitting onto the belly, and legs up to tabletop, arms to the sky. Lower back is in the mat. 12 o'clock spot is very active in helping us to contract our abdominals. Point toes or flex the feet, whichever feels comfortable for you. Opposite arm, opposite leg, and bringing it back in, and opposite arm, and opposite leg, and opposite arm, and opposite leg, and lower back stays in the mat, and the opposite arm and leg extends out from that place, like somebody is gently pulling that arm and the leg, and we're holding on with the core. Lower back stays in the mat, and we can notch it up a little bit. Lower back stays into the mat. Opposite arm, opposite leg, and opposite arm and opposite leg. Let's do another 8 here, another 7, another 6. Hold on to the front side and keep on going. And we'll do another 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And bringing the knees into the chest. I can feel our leg drops from yesterday. Take the block to the side. I hope you can too if you join me for that one. Hands under the knees, and we're going to roll our way up and come to rolling like a ball. We can either have the hands underneath the knees or hands below the knees, and squeezing ourselves into a nice little tight ball version. Shoulders away from ears. We do 5 rolls to the shoulder blades and back up, and shoulder blades and back up, and shoulder blades and back up. The nice smooth roll for all the vertebrae as best as we can. And let's do one more for good measure. And then from here, we're going to come and take a seat with our heels wide, our arms forward, and sit nice and tall. And then we'll pull the belly button in, and like somebody's pulling the rib cage back, and we're squeezing the abdominals. Hips and shoulders are stacked, and then from there we roll down vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae, arms up and over and back up to the sky. Tuck your chin in, and then we're going to roll back up and come back up to our seat. Hips and shoulders are stacked, and extend and to the front, and pull belly button in, abdominal curl as we roll down. We're trying to kind of close the space between the hips and the floating ribs. Now we're extending and stretching, and then come back up, and then we tap back into that space between the floating ribs and the top of the hips, and reach to arms, abdominal curl, arms forward and up and forward, and abdominal curl, roll back down, vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae, arms up and over, and arms all the way up, and then we roll it back up, and taking ourselves one more down and one more up. Pull belly button in, engage abdominals, exhale, find each and every vertebrae, and then we'll take it all the way up, arms to the sky, tuck your chin, use your core to roll yourself up, and come with your arms to the front and pull belly button in. Come down to that 6 o'clock spot, palms facing up, and then we're going to do a little pulsing to the back. And you can have your heels and your knees and your hips hip widths apart. And we pulse, 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 and we pulse. Keep on going, pulsing away right here. Pull the belly button in nice and strong. We'll do 10 more, and 8, and 6, and 5 more, and 4 more, and 3 more, and 2 more, and last one. Take it all the way up, and exhale, arms forward, palms together. I'm going to sit on an angle for my space. We're going to open our arm to the side, so we come back down. We open the left arm to the back and to the center, and the right arm to the back and center, and left and center, and right and center, and left and center, and right and center. Open and let hold, open and hold, and back to the center. Right arm, open and hold, and center, and again, open and hold, and center, and open and hold, and center. We'll do one more, open and hold, and center, and open and hold, and center, and hands under the knees, and we roll our way all the way down, and feet on each side of the mat, arms to the side, windshield wiper. Inhale and exhale, and then we'll bring in our boat pose or teaser pose. We're doing Pilates, so let's do teaser pose by taking hands underneath the arms and roll your hands underneath the knees, and then roll your way up. And then from here, we're gonna lift up into tabletop, and then we're going to roll our way down. So we are lifting our shoulder blades, but we're on to the lower middle back, and we are having another super strong core holding on, and there's no space between your mat and your lower back, and arms are forward, and we can push the knees slightly forward, arms up and over towards the ears, and we circle the arms to the knees and holding on, and then we're going to roll ourselves back up, and then we'll do that again. Vacuum suck the belly button in, and then we roll our way down. So we have our shoulder blades way off, baby elephant onto the belly, arms forward, up and over towards the ears, circle the arms, hands by knees, and then we're going to roll our way back up with the core, and again, rolling back down, scoop the belly button in, shoulder blades are off the mat, arms up and over towards the ears, circle the arms to the knees, and then we roll our way all the way back up. Maybe we stretch the legs, maybe we take the arms forward, and maybe we from here roll our way down to the top bottom of the shoulder blades, and arms over the head and back to the knees, and over the head and back to the knees, and over the head and back to the knees. One more, over the head and back to the knees. Bend your knees and hug all the way back in. And then from here, we'll come to a series of 5 block underneath the head, so that we can access our abdominals only, and not neck or chin or shoulders. And it feels really nice to put that block underneath the head after what we just did. So maybe you do that, maybe you decide to have your head lifted by your superpowers. For now, pull the belly button in, take your knees to the chest, right knee in, left leg out, and we double pulse and switch, and double pulse and switch, and double pulse and switch, double pulse and switch, double pulse and switch, double pulse and 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 one more double pulse, and then knees together and double knee extension, arms and legs, circle arms, hug your hands by your ankles, squeeze the air out, inhale and circle, and hands by ankles, and inhale and circle, and squeeze everything in, and inhale, extend, exhale, and squeeze into the midline. Two more. Inhale and exhale and extend back out. Last one. Arms around, hands by ankles. Extend your right leg up, left leg forward. Double pulse, switch, double pulse, switch, double pulse, switch, double pulse and switch, double pulse, double pulse, double pulse, double pulse from the core. We'll do another two here. Lower back is in the mat. That 12 o'clock spot is super plugged in. Last one. And then we'll take both legs up and double leg extensions. Only taking the legs out to where it feels like you can still support your lower back from the core. And we lower and lift and lower and lift, and again lower and lift and lower and lift. Two more. Lower, lift. Keep that 12 o'clock spot into the mat, bringing it back up, and legs tabletop, bicycle and bicycle. You can this time take your arms up to the sky and moving your legs in a nice big wide bicycle pedal movement. Inhale and exhale, lower back in the mat. 12 o'clock spot is very active, and we'll do another 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 more and 2 more and last one, and bring the knees into the chest, and from here take the block to the side, and we'll might even come a little bit more to the down onto our mats in case you have a wall by your top of the mat. Then just so there is free and clear, we're going to come into pike and roll down vertebrae by vertebrae to pike in the front. You can certainly choose to stay right here and have your hands underneath and do your pike right here. You don't have to lift up and over, but I think here because you enjoy it. So let's press the head, adjust the shoulder blades, and then from here use lower abdominals and come into an upward pike with your legs parallel to the mat. And then we're going to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae, and feet stays together. Take your legs forward, lower back in the mat, and lift up and over to your pike. Holding your legs into alignment with your mat, and then lower down vertebrae by vertebrae, and taking legs forward, lower back in the mat, 12 o'clock spot, taking it up and over to your pike, and lower down vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae, and up and over. Let's do two more. Lifting up and over, piking your legs parallel with your mat, holding your abs, squeezing everything you have, and lower down, and legs to the front. One more. And last one, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae, and pike to the front. 12 o'clock is in the mat, and knees to the chest and hands under the knees. I'm going to roll on up, take our block and put it the flat way for our upper middle back for fish pose, and getting to have a nice big extension into the chest after all that we have done. Take your arms to the side, Feet can come together and knees to the side, and you can stay here with your block the flat way. If you're craving a little bit more, you can flip your block sideways to the medium way, and you have your shoulder blades free and clear from the block, and you have your kidneys free and clear. We're in that upper middle back, and then arms to the side, head towards the mat. Maybe there's some spontaneous adjustments in towards the thoracic. And we get to open up, massage the front side, make it comfortable. Maybe there's a pillow for the head or a second block. And we'll stay one more breath here. And then knees together, hands behind the head. And we come all the way back up, hands by the knees, and make your way into a elephant pose, down dog version, stretching out into that upper back and into the abs and into the side body. Long arms, long legs, pedal around into your hips, ankles, knees, shoulders, spine. And come on to your knees, please. And we have found our way into the end of this Pilates Fusion session. And I thank you so much for coming and joining me here. And I hope that you enjoy this and that you feel worked out and that we will do many more together. Subscribe for more free videos. And I thank you very much and appreciate you being here. Thank you.